extraordinary speed. Paranormal researchers. Unseen entity. The Bell Witch or Bell Witch haunting is a tale from southern United States folklore, revolving around the 19th-century Bell family of northwest Robertson County, Tennessee. Farmer John Bell and his family lived along the Red River in the vicinity of the present-day town of Adams. According to the legend, spanning from 1817 to 1821, the family and the local community experienced a series of attacks by a predominantly unseen entity that possessed the ability to speak, influence the physical surroundings, and undergo transformations. Some narratives mention the spirit's alleged clairvoyance and its capacity to traverse great distances with extraordinary speed, possibly being in multiple locations simultaneously. In 1894, Martin Ingram, a newspaper editor, released his authenticated history of the Bell Witch. This book is commonly acknowledged as the initial comprehensive account of the legend and a foundational reference for later interpretations. The figures documented in the publication were established historical figures. Welcome to the place where you'll find your perfect accommodation. If you're the owner of a hotel, motel, or a similar establishment, don't hesitate to reach out for a potential collaboration. Presently, certain skeptics view Ingram's endeavors as a piece of historical fiction or deception. On the other hand, alternative researchers perceive Ingram's work as an early exploration of folklore and a faithful representation of the beliefs prevalent in the region during the 19th century. Although not an intrinsic aspect of the initial documented narrative, the Bell Witch Cave gained enduring fascination, belief, and the creation of folklore in the 20th century. Modern artistic representations, seen in mediums like film and music, have broadened the influence of the legend beyond the local boundaries of the southern United States. In the book, An Authenticated History of the Bell Witch, writer Martin V. Ingram documented that the poltergeist adopted the name Kate, asserting to be Old Kate Bat's witch and consistently responding to that name. The supernatural occurrences primarily revolved around the Bell's youngest daughter, Betsy, and her father. Kate showed distinct displeasure when Betsy entered into an engagement with a local man named Joshua Gardner. In May 1903, there were reports of a prophecy suggesting the possible return of the witch on the centennial of the Bell family's arrival in Tennessee. Responding to an August 1903 article from Memphis, the Springfield Herald dismissed local concerns about the Bell Witch's return and accused the Memphis paper of plagiarism. The Herald also mentioned that the copyright for Ingram's work had transferred to his son Tolbert, who was employed at the Denver Times. By September, the local paper remained skeptical, noting that the spirit had not been reported to have returned in August. Ben Radford highlights the Bell Witch story as a crucial example for paranormal researchers, illustrating how legends and myths can be misconstrued as factual events when sources are not rigorously verified. Radford emphasizes that the onus is on proponents to provide evidence supporting their claims rather than on skeptics to disprove them, stating, "The burden of proof is not on skeptics to disprove anything but rather for the proponents to prove claims." Brian Dunning argues against discussing the purported paranormal activity unless there is credible evidence supporting the story's authenticity. He points out that vague accounts alluding to a witch in the area lack substantial evidence. Dunning contends that the essential details of the story have been fabricated, and the remaining information is derived from a source of questionable credibility. Given the absence of reliable documentation for any verifiable events, Dunning dismisses the Bell Witch as merely one among numerous unsupported folk legends, amplified and popularized by an opportunistic author of historical fiction. Joe Nickell suggests that many acquaintances of Betsy suspected her of deception, and he views the Bell Witch narrative as potentially indicative of the poltergeist faking syndrome, where an individual, often a child, orchestrates mischief. Amy Fluker, a researcher focused on the Mississippi variant of the legend during her tenure at the University of Mississippi, emphasizes the broader significance of the Bell Witch legend. As a historian specializing in collective memory, Fluker notes that the authenticity of hauntings is inconsequential to her research. What holds importance is people's belief in them. She contends that these beliefs offer insights into the perspectives of 19th and 20th century Americans, contributing valuable understanding from a historical standpoint. Numerous films have drawn inspiration, to varying degrees, from the Bell Witch legend. Roger Clark, a former film critic at The Independent, contends that the legend has left a discernible mark on cinema. Its influence can be observed in various films, including the Poltergeist series, the found-footage franchise Paranormal Activity, the 2015 release The Witch. The portrayal of disturbance in burial grounds seen in the Amityville Horror, and the thematic element of cherries apporting to children in the 2013 film Mama. The paranormal TV series Ghost Adventures dedicated an episode to the Bell Witch Cave. In 2014, director Sid Zanferlin produced a documentary episode focusing on the legend and the town of Adams. This episode was part of the series Boogeymen, Monsters Among Us, aired on Destination America and later compiled into a collection titled America's Monsters under the segment Forest Monsters. Mothman and the Bell Witch. A television series titled Cursed, The Bell Witch aired on the A&E network in October 2015, focusing on selected descendants of the Bell family attempting to break a curse. In 2018, the Travel Channel series, Haunted Live, showcased the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, a paranormal investigative team, visiting the town of Adams, Tennessee. The descendants of the Bell family guided them to the cabin. The legend and caves of Middle Tennessee were explored by Expedition X in 2020. As part of a Guggenheim Fellowship, Charles Faulkner Bryan composed The Bell Witch, a cantata that debuted in Carnegie Hall in 1947 with Robert Shaw conducting the Juilliard Chorus and Orchestra. The Nashville music group The Shakers released Living in the Shadow of a Spirit in 1988 on a vinyl record. A ballet titled The Bell Witch was choreographed and composed by Anne-Marie D'Angelo and Connie Ellisor for the Nashville Ballet. In 1976, the Nashville Children's Theater premiered Our Family Trouble, The Legend of the Bell Witch, a play written by Audrey Campbell. Rick White's play, The Bell Witch Story, was first performed in 1998 by the Sumner County Players and again in 2008 by the Tennessee Theater Company. David Alford's play, Spirit, The Authentic Story of the Bell Witch of Tennessee, was performed in Adams, Tennessee, during the Bell Witch Fall Festival in late October.